and science and merging them together. And I know, if you know anything about Dr. Osborne, he's a little neurotic. And so I've listened to this talk now, probably going about 5 or 6 times until I get it right. And I know one thing, you guys are going to be blown away. So everybody get up on your feet, start dancing, start singing, start laughing, start cheering, get your hands together. What can you say? Dr. TJ Osborne.
Remember the name, right? Why are you here? Why are you here? Why did you travel all the way across the country to be here? What do you want out of being here? Seriously, think about it. What do you want? Put your phones down, unless you're sharing this. The point is that my job today is not to make you comfortable. My job's not to make you happy. My job's not to sugarcoat things in your life that's filled with crap, in your practice that's failing or underperforming, or your marriage or your relationships. I'm not Willy Wonka. That's not my job. See, I'm a little bit pissed off, and I talked to my wife about this before I got up here, and what she said to me, she said, chill out. Well, I'm not going to chill out because, for one single reason, people are dying. People are dying. So I'm going to tell you something. There's 2 situations. So first of all, there's a little boy that falls over a fence, and he falls into a gorilla pit. When he falls into the gorilla pit, this gorilla that's 450 pounds, he's got arms the size of Supernaut's waist, and he grabs this kid, and he starts dragging him all over the gorilla pit. And the zookeeper, to save this kid's life, he takes a gun, and he shoots that gorilla. He shoots that gorilla. Situation number 2. 400,000 people a year. 400,000 people a year are murdered in our healthcare system. Does that make you uncomfortable for me to say that? Because the problem is, when things make you uncomfortable, when you hear the truth, it's because you're living a lie. 400,000 people a year die in our healthcare system as a result of errors. This is just in hospitals alone. This is not in nursing homes. This is not in doctors' offices. 400 of your mothers, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, 400,000 people that you know, and 400,000 lives are lost every single year through errors. And guess what? That is the 3rd leading cause of death in the United States right now. Number 3. Oh, let's talk about properly prescribed medications. You know, the gorillas with a prescription pad, what do? So properly prescribed medications are the 4th leading cause of the death in the United States. That's properly applied medicine. That's medicine practiced appropriately. The right drug for the right person at the right time is the number 4 leading cause of death in the United States right now. Why are you here? What do you want to get out of being here? What does this have to do with anything? It's hard to hear. It's hard to hear, but it's real. See, there's people out there right now, and if you go on YouTube, you'll see pictures of people protesting this gorilla, that this gorilla died. There's literally people out there protesting that this gorilla died and this child lived. Where were you? Where were you when whole cities are being shut down because a police officer shoots one person and 400,000 people die? See, when we look at our healthcare system right now, it is not the number 3, it's not the number 2, it's the number 1 leading cause of death in the United States. Where are the people, where are the picket lines, where are the NFL players taking a knee protesting this? Where are you? Problem with it is this, is that there is a medical cartel out there. There is a medical cartel financed by the pharmaceutical industry. Its only purpose is to put profits before people. Its number one job is to profit from disease. If this changes, the number one industry in our country disappears. Our economy crumbles. Why are you here today? Because when you look at right now, we have children. 50% of children have a chronic disease. And they're being treated in this healthcare system. A chronic disease that's going to last them for the rest of their life. Are you here to get spizzed up? Really? Like, I look out here and I see some of the same faces for the last 10 years. Do you come here to get spizzed up? Yeah, that's nice, because that's all about you. That's all about you. Getting spizzed up has nothing to do with action. It has nothing to do with changing the world. They dole out prescriptions. Because there's prescriptions are permission for people to live the anti-5 essential lifestyle. It's permission for people to destroy themselves there. It's not about health. But here's the thing. What are you going to do? Because I want to tell you something. You're already partially dead. You, sitting right now in this seat, the seat that you're sitting in right now, you are partially dead. I'm 46 years old. I plan on living to at least 100 years old. That means right now, as I'm standing here, I am 50% dead almost. Think about it. I'm 50% dead. Next time a patient comes into your office and they say, "Doc, how are you?" Well, I'm 50% dead. 50% dead. Problem is not that we're 50% dead, but do we actually live in the dead that we've already had? Did we actually live in the dead that we already had, or were we dead while we were dying? Think about that. So I challenge you this weekend. It's not about detox, right? It's not about vitamin D. It's not about your ketones. It's not about what's in your bank account. It's not about how many patient visits you saw last week. Because guess what? None of that matters. You're all eventually going to die. You're all eventually going to die. And the only thing that you have left when you die, the only thing that your family, the only thing that your friends, the only thing that people will remember you by is the name and the legacy associated with that name. Who is going to remember your name? Who's going to remember your name? Because there are graveyards full across the entire planet that the names have been worn off by the ravages of time, by the wind and the rain and the elements. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows that that person even existed on this planet. Who's going to remember your name there? Because here's the thing. If your life is about surviving, right now, you're going to leave this life as weak as you came into it. You're going to leave no impact on this world. If you're just about surviving and getting through the day. But the question is this, is that when you leave this seminar, are things going to be different? Because this seminar is about you choosing whether you're going to live or you're going to continue dying. It's going to be about whether other people have the choice to be able to live or they're going to die by the gorilla. See, we have to look at where are we, right? We have to look at where are we and what areas in your life need to change. If we were to look at your life after you leave in a court of law, what would be the evidence that says by your physical body you chose to live? What would be the evidence by your relationships with your wife that you chose to live? What would be the evidence in a court of law that they would say emphatically this person has chosen to live their life to the very best of their ability to be able to be a world changer, that they would look at your office and they said, this chiropractor, this maximized living doctor is fully alive? What would be the evidence? And why is it? Why is it that there's sometimes some areas of our life that physically we choose to live physically, but we don't even know our kids? Why is it that our marriage is fantastic, but we're barely able to pay the bills? And I'll tell you one reason. It's because that we tolerate mediocrity in our lives. We get comfortable in our lives, and we tolerate mediocrity there. The Bible says that there will be a time when we start seeing good as evil. And then we also start seeing evil as good. What is a system that's set up to rob people of hope? What is a system that's set up that destroys the fabric of society? What is a system that's set up that is bankrupting our economy? What is a system that's set up? It's a good healthcare system. And I'll tell you one thing, it's not a good healthcare system if people die in it. What it's trying to accomplish is the exact opposite that's happening. It's an evil healthcare system. Am I making you uncomfortable? Would you be comfortable telling your patients this? Sometimes it's hard to tell the truth. But like I said, the people that it's hardest that hear the truth are the people that are living a lie. Why do we have terrorism? Right? Think about it. Why do we have terrorism? Why do we have chaos in our schools? Why do we have chaos in our political system? It's because we tolerate the lie. We tolerate the lie. We tolerate most importantly, we tolerate lies within ourselves. And until we can start to get real, and until we can start to tell the truth, then what happens is nothing's going to change. Because this is a revolution right now that we're talking about. The concepts that we're talking about are revolutionary, and it's not that we're trying to change anything. We're trying to get back to what should have happened in the first place. We're trying to get back to where we should have been, where we started off with. We're trying to get back to the principle. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you a little research. Here's how it works. You might not have heard this. Information flows from the brain cell to the tissue cell and back up to the brain cell. That's a fact. When that information flows uninterfered with, that person's able to express their full potential. That's a fact. When there is interference, it creates a state of chaos within the body, which creates that state of internal chaos is what we call disease. That's a fact. So it takes tremendous change, it takes tremendous guts, it takes tremendous courage to go over to go against what's normal there. But I have to tell you right now, we're in code red. Code red means it's an emergency. Code red. Why do you think Maximize Living Colors are code red? Because it's emergency time. Code red means that something has to happen. People are dying out there. And so when we go out there and we start reaching, and we start seeking, and we start saving people, and we know every single day that it's a code red in our office, that's when the revolution occurs. But for the change to happen, for a code red to happen, you have to stop being one of the walking dead. You're going to have to wake up there. See, I got to ask you a question. When did you stop doing doctor's reports? You know, when it was easier to sell people on the pain and the principle and you just became comfortable with it? When did you stop doing talks? Because you got comfortable, because your practice grew there, and you got to a certain point, and you wanted to have this comfortable lifestyle there. All the time while we're in code red. See, I have a clue for you. See, doctor's reports were never about you. They were about changing the world. I have a clue for you that your talks were never about you. They were never about growing your practice. They were about one thing. They're about educating the people about the principle to save their life. So we're coming down, and we're starting this seminar right now. Question is what do you want? What do you want? And if your life is a chaotic mess, you better fix it. If your life's a chaotic mess, you better fix it. And to do that, you have to stop being friends. You have to stop being friends with your patients. Maximize Living doctors do not have friends as patients. See, friends let friends drive drunk because they're not that drunk. Right? Friends let friends take toxic drugs and they pretend that they don't know that they're taking them because it's easier not to say something because they don't want to offend them. Friends let friends eat French fries. Friends let friends leave a toxic, destructive lifestyle because they're more concerned about their relationship with that patient than they are about saving their lives. Maximize the Living doctors they don't have friends, and the reason being is maximized living doctors are leaders. A leader's job is not to grow followers. A leader's job is to grow other leaders. So this seminar, you have two questions to ask yourself. Why am I here? And what do I want? You have a couple of responsibilities here. There are only two things that I ask of you. Number one is you take the information that we're teaching you and you put it into action. Number two is that you share the mission. You share the mission in your home. You share the mission in your practice. You share the mission in your community. You share the mission in your world. You step up and you support that foundation that's out there that's all about the mission there. You stop thinking about yourself. Because 9 years ago, I got up on this stage and I tore my shirt off. A lot thinner then. So it's not happening. But I tore my shirt off. And on my chest was a big M tattoo. It was on my chest. 9 years later, it's not there anymore because it's in my heart. Every single day, that thing that keeps that M alive on there is my heart beating. So as long as I'm alive, that mission stays alive because the mission is bigger than the man. And the man is the mission. The woman is the mission. You are the mission standing right here in front of you. The mission, that M that's on your shirt, it doesn't stand for maximize living. It stands for mission. So every single time that you put that shirt on, you have respect for it. You have respect for it because that doesn't say maximize living. That is a reminder that you are on mission every single time you put that shirt on there. So you better figure out right now, for the rest of this seminar, if you're dying, and if you choose to live, that you also better figure out why you're here and what do you want. Thank you.
Give it up for Dr. TJ.